I wanted to talk about kind of a controversial subject today on the topic of Instagram and body image and body standards. I wanted to talk about the age-old topic: is plastic surgery and body modifications, facial modifications like fillers and Botox, feminist? So someone tagged me in this TikTok. I should have saved it, god damn it. But this girl, she was probably around my age, maybe a little bit younger, was talking about plastic surgery. No, she was talking about Botox specifically, and like how she can't believe there's like 19-year-olds getting Botox, like preventative Botox, because you don't even know what you look like yet. You know, like what if you actually like yourself with wrinkles or yourself when you're older more than now? She talked about how she's watching Parks and Rec and how she feels that Amy Poehler looks a lot better in later seasons than in earlier ones, even though she is older, and how there's this constant pressure. Basically, like, the standard is to look as young as possible, you know, and youth is like beauty, and everyone just wants to look how they did when they were 21 or 18, 19, whatever. So y'all know me. I've gotten Botox. I've fucking had plastic surgery. Or I read an article, it was like plastic surgery is like for like medical reasons. It's cosmetic surgery if it's just for aesthetics. Like plastic surgery would be like if you were like a burn victim, not one. But cosmetic surgery is like a BBL. Anyway, so I definitely have like mixed opinions about this subject in general. So I don't really have like so much an answer as just different things that I've read. And I want to open up the conversation and ask you guys what you think about the subject. Because I just feel like this can go like so many different ways. Number one, okay, well, I think my overall opinion is that you like blaming individuals or shaming individuals for getting surgery or changing, you know, getting injectables, getting fillers, whatever, is just not very productive. Because the truth is, we do live in a society where we are rewarded when we fit the standard of beauty. We're treated better, we get more opportunities, we're usually more successful. And that's not to say you can't be successful, you know, define success however you want, or have an enjoyable, good life without that. But it's like it may not be as easy, you know, like pretty privilege is very real. So I think, I'm not saying that the woman in this TikTok was necessarily doing that, but I just feel like there's this vibe, and I would know firsthand, okay, of like people wanting to shame individuals for changing their body permanently. And it's just like, what's the point? Like, if you're gonna blame anyone, blame men, blame patriarchy, like blame systems, like. So anyway, I found, and don't worry, I'm gonna like look over both, or I'm going to discuss both sides of this. But as far as like, okay, well, I found this article on the New York Times titled "What Women Who Criticize Plastic Surgery Don't See." So, wait. This is from March 2020. Let me see. There are those, basically she was talking about, you know, the whole natural bodies thing. This camp has co-opted the language of body positivity to shame women. Those on Team Natural claim that, you know, people who, like celebrities who have natural bodies have ideal bodies. Like they said Angela Simmons, Doja Cat, and Megan Thee Stallion, who both describe themselves as natural, have ideal bodies. But these women are all conventionally attractive with flat stomachs and round behinds. The truth is the adherents of Team Natural are upholding the beauty hierarchy that has always existed. They are content to keep the narrow body standard just wide enough to accommodate women like them, but not to radically challenge the standard itself. Like many of the things that millennials dive into, plastic surgery has been oversimplified as unnecessary, self-obsessed, and harmful. But conventional plastic surgery is remarkably safe. Still, horror stories about women left disfigured or dead after undergoing black market surgeries occasionally go viral. People latch onto them as cautionary tales or exploit them in an effort to publicly shame others. Me. Literally the amount of people that were like, you could die from that. It's like, babe, I already did it and I'm here and I'm fine. So it's like they just want some kind of way to, and I'm not saying everybody who's against plastic surgery, but it's just that specific vibe. It's like they just want any reason to like shame you, so they're gonna like choose that because it's like, what are you gonna, how can you argue against safety? But it's like, you don't care about my safety, and I like it's very safe. What? Rather than encourage women who choose only safe options for surgery, those who oppose these procedures condemn women for wanting to pursue them in the first place. See, I don't think that women who are staunchly against plastic surgery are worried about women's health or self-esteem. I think they are motivated by fear that their pretty privilege, the beauty they get to enjoy from meeting those standards without the help of a doctor, is at risk. If beauty becomes democratized by more people simply paying surgeons for it, the proverbial finish line gets pushed further away. But upholding a limited body ideal and rewarding the cluster of folks closest to it isn't the solution. Embracing autonomy and a variety of body aesthetics is. The notion of beauty is fueled in part by exclusivity. Those relatively few who have it are revered. Whether we like it or not, we are all subject to privileges and disadvantages based on our appearance. We enhance ourselves with makeup, hair extensions, and fake nails because we are all under pressure to achieve the unattainable standards of Beyonce and the Kardashians. We adjust our bodies with shapewear and strategic clothing choices. Singling out plastic surgery as both unnecessary and unnatural is missing the bigger picture. People with marginalized bodies are acutely aware of the consequences of not meeting the standards of physical beauty. While some of us choose a path of radical self-acceptance and reject the beauty ideals that we've been told we haven't reached, many of us have instead found ways to leverage those standards for our own survival and success. We adopt certain beauty practices from fake lashes to cheek fillers in order to pass, to survive, and to thrive. A natural body movement that doesn't include all of us is the real danger. The truth is, we will typically have better experiences, easier experiences, and be able to survive and thrive when we do fit ideals. So while that's not to say, oh, well, everyone should just get surgery or everyone should just, succumb to the beauty standards, it's like to shame someone for wanting to fit that when they have this like deep-rooted insecurity that's like so often it's so subconscious, it's like because we just place so much of our worth into how we look, but it's not like we decide to do that. We've been taught, like we've been socialized to think that way or to feel that way about ourselves. So shaming people is just not like worth it. And while this article was more so about surgery and the TikTok was about Botox and more so like anti-aging, preserving our youth, etc., it is very similar in just the sense of beauty ideals and how youth is often considered the beauty ideal. So while I don't personally think, because there's some women who think that, who would just say, oh, plastic surgery is feminist because, every woman should be able to decide what she wants to do with her body. It's like, okay, true, but it's just like, it's true. Like, we are succumbing to beauty ideals that are set by patriarchy and men. But I just don't think shaming people is going to fix it's not going to fix anything. And the thing is, like, I feel like my life has improved so much since getting a BBL, and like, it's just kind of crazy. I get treated like differently, and better. So for someone to try to shame me, it's like, well, my literal experience has been, because of this, my life has improved. So like, I don't, on that kind of like personal level, it's just like, I don't really care what anyone has to say. And but that's not to say I'm like pro surgery, because I know at the end of the day it's like, this is just because of beauty standards. In an ideal world, bro, like, we wouldn't even think, like, it would just be total body neutrality, Because that was also part of the thing that kind of came to mind for me about that TikTok. Like, oh, well, what if you look better when you're older? It's like, what do you mean by look better? Like, if we truly were not, placing this importance on our looks at all, it wouldn't be like body positivity. It would be body neutrality. Like, it would just, like, it wouldn't matter whether we look better, quote unquote, better when we're older or not, because it just wouldn't matter. So I think that is also something to work on more. Or like, I wish I could remember the specific article that I was reading, but they used the example of like stretch marks, and it's like, oh, my stretch marks are beautiful. They are my tiger stripes. And it's like, it's like, you're just like, it's still placing importance on how you look. Whereas, again, body neutrality would just be like, okay, I have these exist. It doesn't matter. Like, it's neither good nor bad. So there's that. Then there was an article from the Harper's Bazaar about, this was more so about teenage plastic surgery, which, I don't know, I don't really have too many thoughts on that. They were talking a lot about social media, though, and, like, Kylie Jenner and the effects of these trends and just, young girls seeing, which is kind of like what we were talking about earlier, young girls just, seeing these women online who have had work done or have edited their photos, and I think that's normal. That's, like, sad. Like, I don't think you should, like, change your body before you're 18, because you're not even done growing or, like, developing. And, like, even just my face has changed so much from when I was 18 to now. Like, I feel like my face is more snatched. I lost a lot of baby fat. Like, tell me why someone... I had to wait for the sirens to go by. But tell me why this guy just commented on my, like, feminine urge. I did, like, the feminine urge to completely rebrand every New Year's. He commented, I don't know if that's a feminine thing. I always fight the urge to rebrand. When you're not on TikTok. Do I, like, explain to him? Do I not? It's so funny when, like, bros I know follow me and, like, engage with my content that's, like, not for them. Like, but it's like, I love it, but, like, it's just so funny. But I love it because, like, there's nothing worse than when I do a poll on IG and, like, people I know don't do the poll. It's like, you're just gonna click through my story and not, like, do the work, bitch. I'm just kidding, it's not that serious. Anyway, okay, now that there's no sirens, we can get back to this. So at the end of this article, they were talking about Gabby and Nikki. This is, like, an old article. I don't know what year, but it's from a while ago. But they're talking about how Gabby deciding to get lip injections was empowering, and how selfies and Instagram and cosmetic procedures are empowering. The word empowering seemed more like anything like a way to deflect questions and shut down the conversation about cosmetic work altogether. Part of the game of getting cosmetic work still involves pretending you never had it and that you simply woke up prettier because of God. Femininity remains inextricably intertwined with notions of modesty. Effort is unattractive. Good plastic surgery looks like you never had it done. It's all tied up with the myth of natural beauty. So ironically, while we're all very proud of our decisions, none of us want to own up to them. So can I just get a fucking round of applause for being open about my BBL from the beginning, bitch? Because I do disagree with that as well. But at the same time, it's like, I understand, because there's so much stigma and shame around plastic surgery. No wonder none of these bitches want to admit that they've had shit done. But then also it's like, if you get a BBL and then you start selling workout guides, like, that's fraud. And doing your little before and after, oh, this is my body when I was 14 before puberty, and then this is me at 25 after a BBL and I've gained weight. Like, duh. That's not your workout plan. That's surgery and nature. If it's empowering, why is it a secret? Exactly. So it's just such a complex topic, I feel like there's so many layers. But I did read some, or I actually was watching an or a TikTok live from one of my favorite therapists on TikTok. So my mom's a therapist. Someone asked her while I was watching the live about, or maybe it was a TikTok. I think it was a live, but someone asked her what her thoughts on, getting work done. I don't know if they were specifically talking about Botox and filler or actual surgery. But they basically asked her, like, what are your thoughts on getting work done? And she had such a great response. As far as, like, on a personal level, she said something to the effect of, if something's bothering you and you change it, and then it's like you no longer have to think about that thing, and you can just move on with your life, and it's no longer this thing weighing you down, like, that's great. But it becomes a problem if once you do something or fix something, you feel like you fix something, then it's like you just keep looking for things to change or to fix, or like it's like you're never done. And I related to this so much, and I think that's one of the things I said in one of my first BBL videos, was just like, this was something that was just weighing me down, like all the time, every day it was an issue. And same with acne. Like there was a point where I would like cry every day because of how frustrated I was about my skin. And now it's like, I don't even have to think about it. Like sometimes I'll get a pimple here or there, but it's like not this huge emotional thing where it's like, it affects my whole life and mood and day, like everything, Same with the BBL. Like, yeah, I'm like, okay, well, I kind of want to like, build my legs up a little more in the gym, but it's not like this constant, just like, I'm always checking in the mirror. Like I'm just always like, oh my God, like, so it's like, if you're gonna do it, make sure you're doing it, I guess, with the right mindset. Yeah. There was also this website, I think it was feminismindia.com. It was an article about plastic surgery. And I just like, this was so unrealistic to me. They said, oh, just embrace your imperfections as perfect until you don't see them anymore. Yeah, try telling that to someone who has to like look at their acne. I mean, I'm sure I'm sure some people would put Accutane in the same category as like, getting work done. But like, bro, it's like, yeah, I want to believe that. But then it's like, when everyone, both in your own personal life and online, is constantly like berating you with insults and just like commenting on how you look, and like, is it really realistic to just ignore it until you love yourself? Like, maybe for some people, but that takes so much emotional energy. And it's like, if you could just do something, I'm not trying to like downplay surgery. Surgery is not just like this simple thing, but like, if you have this option and you're able to do it, like, why not just do it? Because those were always like my two things, like just kind of like my body shape, like the shape of my butt. Because even when I would build muscle, gain weight, like it just was never the shape that I wanted. And my skin, those were always like my two biggest insecurities. If someone had said to me like, just ignore it until you love yourself, like that's just so unrealistic, bro. Like you're not even giving people like a manual on how to do that, or like the steps, like. And then it's still not body neutrality. So it's just a very complex subject. The thing is, the truth is, we do live in this world. Like I said at the beginning, like I've said like probably 8 times by now in this podcast, we do live in a world that, especially as women, like so much of our worth has to do with our looks. So it's like, I don't think that's necessarily going to change overnight. So don't shame people for like wanting a better, easier life or experience like for themselves. I think it's like, stay in your own lane. My answer to this is stay in your own lane. If someone is getting Botox and you disagree with that so much, you don't have to. No one's forcing you to like try to control what other people do. I think is a little bit like, okay, what's the real issue? Are you jealous? Like, are you scared they're going to look better than you? Quote unquote better? Like what's the real issue? Because I just do not feel the urge to like go around shaming people for like what they've had done. Like, what? Bro, it doesn't affect me. Like, and it's just like, be glad the people who are being honest about it are being honest about it. But I do agree. When it comes down to it, it is patriarchy, and it's like, yeah, we shouldn't have to live like this, but like we do. So it's like, don't comfort individuals. Like, that's not gonna solve anything. So I don't really have like an answer or like a call to action. I guess I would just like to open up the convo. What do you think? Because I just feel like there's so many layers to this topic, to this issue. And ultimately, the more we shame people, the less they're going to be open about it. The more they're going to hide when they do have work done, and the more likely people are to choose unsafe options, black market options. So just stay in your own lane. Like,